Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Again, we have a little change in scenery because I'm sitting in front of my window this time instead of using my desk lamp as a light, and I think I like this lighting a lot better, so this might become the new scenery. But again, I'm only going to be here for a few more weeks, so at that point we'll have to see what I'm going to do. I forgot I'm wearing my blood donor sticker because I just donated blood. Like, I literally came back to my room about like 10 minutes ago. So yeah, with that being said, this is Fun Friday number 11, and I don't know why, but for some reason I have been watching a lot of Mandela Effect videos. So today I thought I would talk to you about 10 that either I personally thought, two, and they're like, all these are pretty popular, but I think all but two of them I personally thought, and then the other two, the one is like the most common one, and then the other one is one that I didn't personally think, but apparently a lot of people do. So with that being said, the Mandela Effect, if you don't know what it is, it got coined from whenever Nelson Mandela died. People could have sworn that he died in the I think in the 90s. It was like the 80s or 90s, but he really died in like, I think like 2013. So people could have sworn that he died earlier than he did, and so they think that over time the information got changed. And what the Mandela Effect really is confabulation, which is the disturbance of a memory that then gives you a false sense of reality. So like, you think something was something, it's like those things whenever you think something happened a certain way, but then your friends are like, no, this is how it happened. Those kinds of things, those are kind of like Mandela effects. But anyways, so I'm gonna give you 10 Mandela effects. So number 1. So the first one is the most common one, but personally I didn't ever think this one, but apparently a lot of people do. So it's the Berenstein versus Berenstain. Apparently there are people who believe that used to be Berenstein, and you know, there's those pictures that go around where it's like, oh, on this whatever year TV guide it was Berenstein, and you never know which ones of those are, you know, fabricated or not. So people think it was it used to be Berenstein, but now it's Berenstain. I've always thought it was Berenstain because I remember the song was like, the way they said Berenstain, it was like the Berenstain Bears family. So I've always thought it was Berenstain, but that's one of the really, really common ones. So, and so that's one that I personally have never had a thing with. And the second one is another one that I personally never thought, but Oscar Mayer bologna, or hot dogs, or whatever, people used to think that Meyer was spelled M-E-Y-E-R, but I mean, I've always thought it was M-A-Y-E-R, just because I want to eat my fruit snacks. Just because the song goes, my bologna has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R, but apparently a lot of people think that it was M-E-Y-E-R. I personally never thought that, but again, like, if that's what you thought, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that that's not personally how I perceived it. Then the other 8 are ones that I personally was like, wait, what, it's not this? So, number 3, the song We Are the Champions by Queen. I could have sworn that it ended No Time for Losers, because we are the champions of the world. So it was like champions and like a hit and then of the world. But actually, the song, it just goes No Time for Losers, because we are the champions, and then it ends. Like, then there's just like instrumental. There's no more words after champions. Which I could have sworn that there were words, but apparently there's not. So, alright. So number 4. If you've ever played Monopoly or seen Monopoly commercials, which I assume that you've done one or the other, I assume you probably played Monopoly. But when you think about the guy, the little like, I guess mascot, his name is Rich Uncle Pennybags. When you would think of him, you'd think short, top hat, mustache, and monocle, right? Because he's rich and everything. But he doesn't have a monocle. I could have sworn at least on the original packaging he had a monocle. Like, I know on the newer stuff he doesn't, but I could have sworn on the original packaging he had a monocle. But no, he's never ever had a monocle. Okay. And number 5. So, as a kid, I loved Pokemon. Like, I grew up, like, I was born in 97, and Pokemon, I think, first came out in the US in 99. Maybe it was 96. It was 96 or 99. One of the two. Anyways, since I had an older brother, though, I grew up watching Pokemon. But I could have sworn that the tip of Pikachu's tail was black. I mean, I feel like it's... Like, I could have sworn it was, but it's not. Like, his tail is just yellow. But there's even merchandise that I've seen recently that the tip of his tail was black or brown, because some of them do it brown and yellow, and then others do it black and yellow. But it was like the tip of his tail was not yellow. It was like, I think on that one it was brown, but it was like brown or black. So obviously there's other people who think that the tip of his tail used to be black, but yeah, it never was. It was always yellow. But there is merchandise that has his tail black on the end. Alright. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Classic Disney. Yeah, anyways. I think it was I'm 99% sure it was the first is either the first animated movie or the first in color animated movie, or maybe both. Because if it was the first animated movie, it was the first colored animated movie, but but what's her name? I don't remember what her name is. But anyways, when she talks to the mirror, I always thought the quote was, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is fairest of them all?" And a lot of people believe that, and I think there's even like merchandise that has it that way. But the actual quote for the movie is, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" And like, I asked my mom and my sister, and my mom said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all?" But then my sister said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" So my mom was partially getting there. She just had the mirror, mirror, not magic mirror. But I don't know. Alright. Number 7. This one, I feel like it's one of those ones where it's like, because some people say A as as and then the word the as the and the sound very similar, and so when you mix it with the instrumental track, I think that's where this one comes from. But number 7 is the song Barbie Girl by Aqua. So I've always thought that the song said, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. But the song actually says, I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. So it's probably the. So it's like, the. So it's probably one of those things where it's like slightly misheard. And some people are like, oh, well. Because, like, I feel like and the when you're singing, they sound very similar. Because you make a similar sound. You like, the. So it's a similar mouth shape and everything. So I feel like that's one of those things where it's just kind of a misheard thing. Number 8, pixie sticks. I used to eat these all the time growing up, and I liked the orange ones the best. I don't know, because I like the orange ones or the blue ones. I wasn't really a big fan of the purple or the red. But also, I'm not a big fan of cherry stuff. That's probably why I didn't really like the. I'm really not a fan of like grape flavored things, so maybe that's why I don't like those ones as much. But anyways, pixie stick. I have always thought that it was spelled. This was like up until I was researching stuff for this video. I thought it was spelled Pixie, and then Stix. So pixie stick makes sense because pixie. When you think about like pixies and fairies, it's spelled Pixie. But for pixie sticks, it is spelled Pixystix. So the sticks part I've always had correct, but the pixie part, it's just Pixy. And my sister, when I told her this, like this last weekend, she was like, what? No, it's not, it's Pixie. I was like, no. And then my mom's like, no, it's always been that. But I'm like, up until recently, I thought that it was Pixie. Alright. I don't know if it was just me, but for number 9, I used to chew double bubble gum. And that's a mouthful, isn't it? Double bubble gum. But anyways, I used to chew it all the time, and like I used to chew the original all the time, and then I liked the watermelon flavor, but that was really the only flavored one. The apple one was okay, but the grape, but I always thought double bubble was spelled double, and then bubble bubble. But it's not spelled double. It's spelled dubble. So it's the same. It's just bubble with a D, which makes sense. But I always thought it was double, like double, the word double, then bubble. But it's not. And finally, we have number 10. So cartoons, I've watched older cartoons, and then I've seen them take them and make them into newer things, like the Looney Tunes, for example. They had baby tunes and all things like that. Like I used to watch a little, like the Looney Tunes when they were babies. Yeah. But I always thought like Looney, Looney, which that's the same for both. And, you know, that just makes sense to me. But I always thought that the tunes part was spelled Toons, as in cartoons, because they're cartoons. But actually it's spelled Tunes, as in tunes, like music tunes. Which, if they sang a lot, that would make sense. They're freaking cartoons. I don't understand why it's Looney Tunes, and maybe it's because like, oh, they're loony, so they do things a different way, but I don't know, that one just kind of throws me off. But anyways, that's it for this video. That was 10 Mandela effects, that 8 of which applied to me. But I'm just going to make a disclaimer: if you don't like Mandela effects, or you believe that I was saying you're wrong or anything like that. That's not the case. If you don't like them, just don't be rude about it. It's just a video. It does not affect you. But I just want to make that disclaimer that I don't want her, because I know other people that have made Mandela Effect videos, they have rude comments. If you don't like Mandela Effects, don't look for them. But anyways, that is it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.